Welcome back to Seahawks podcast. We're going into week 3 of this crazy season, and both of us had great performances by our wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 3 last week. Hopefully, we see that again in week 3. But without further ado, on to the predictions. First up, the New England Patriots travel to New Jersey to take on the New York Jets in the Thursday night matchup. I'm going to go with the Patriots because they have shown me more than the Jets have, and the Jets need pretty much everything to stop the run, and they just lost 2 pieces in last week's matchup. So I don't think they'll be able to stop the Patriots' run game. So, Patriots.
I think I'm going to go with the Jets. I just feel like the one against the Titans is going to give them some confidence. And it's also going to just be a struggle other than running the ball for them. For the Patriots, I don't think they're going to really be able to pass much. And I just feel like Rodgers and that offense is just going to be a little bit too much for Brissett to handle offensively wise or offense wise. Um, I just feel like it's going to be one of those things where it'll be a defensive battle at times. Is just who can capitalize on mistakes enough. Um, though I could also completely see this going to Patriots. I just feel better about the Jets. So
Makes sense. New York taking on Cleveland. I have the Browns winning this one.
I was going to do 3-2-1, but yeah, Browns.
Oh, sorry. All right. This will be a spoiler alert for what I'm going to do for this week, but Green Bay taking on the Titans, I have Green Bay.
Yeah, I have Malik Willis coming back and rolling the Titans. I don't think the Titans ever really gave him a chance. Slash, they didn't put a team around him to succeed. This Packers team is a good team, and that secondary improved. I feel like Levis is going to have issues getting the ball down the field because we saw Richardson having the same issues. Um, I just feel like the Titans aren't be able to, especially get over Levis's mistakes this week, especially against that offense that they looks pretty good even without Jordan Love. Is Jordan Love a system QB? We'll find out.
We
Indianapolis
will.
versus Chicago. I'm going with the Bears. I just feel like they're going to. I feel like Caleb Williams is slowly getting better. He doubled his yards from last week, and the loss against the Texans. I feel like that defense is going to cause Richardson some problems. That defense has played great, especially in both games, and I feel better about their performance on Sunday night than I did do about the Colts' performance against the Packers on Sunday. And just off of that, with both losing, I'm going with the Bears.
I'm continuing my trend with also picking the Bears. Have you guessed the trend yet, Matt?
You're picking all NFC North teams.
Correct. I'm picking the Bears though because I think this is going to be a good get right game for them. Not that they have gotten wrong, but I think that with Colts being one of the worst run defenses in the league, I think they can finally get Swift going, take some pressure off of Caleb, and that'll allow him to get more comfortable and do some good passing work this game when they need to pass. And I think that the Colts really don't have too much of an answer with Richardson throwing all those interceptions. So, especially against Chicago's defense, which has been keeping them in every game. But moving on, we've got Philadelphia at the Saints. And I'm going to take the Saints in this one
Yeah.
because they haven't really proven anything wrong with their team. And until they do, I'm going to continue rolling with them.
I thought you said we're about to say that they hadn't proven themselves yet, and I was like, did you not see the Dallas game?
No,
But
they
yeah,
haven't proven anything to be wrong with their
yeah, yeah,
team.
yeah.
Like,
Once you got there, I was like, okay, I get what you meant. It's just the way it started. Of they haven't proven
yeah.
blah blah blah. I was like, but yeah, New Orleans, they're looking great so far. Philly just came off of the Monday night loss. There's still a lot of questions with this Philly team, and I believe AJ Brown is reportedly going to be out several weeks. So it's all going to be on Devontae Smith. Saquon, I think he's still going to be okay. Might have a bit of a bounce back game where he's going to be mad after that drop, but I just feel like New Orleans is going to be too much, especially with that defense still having issues. And they got drove down on that last offensive drive for the Falcons. So until New Orleans shows me that there are cracks in that team, I feel pretty good about New Orleans. They might be like one of the best teams in the NFL, probably top three right now for me.
There you go. And this is one of my games of the week. If you want to watch a good game, watch this game.
Until the
Moving
Eagles
on
suck.
though, huh?
Until the Eagles suck.
We'll see. I mean, that's a good offense. We'll see. Maybe they'll put it together. But anyway, this is not going to be a pleasurable game to watch,
Yeah.
but this will be a pleasurable game to see the outcome of because here we have the unstoppable force against the immovable object in the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And then the
Honestly,
movable
this
object versus the stoppable force.
yes, the unstoppable force against the immovable object.
No, I would. Okay, hold on. Let me explain myself. So the Chargers have been good offensively. Steelers have been good defensively. Opposite, it's the other way around. Yeah, they've done pretty well, but it's only been against the Raiders and Panthers.
Yeah.
Um, Raiders looked decent against the Ravens. We'll get to them, but I think there's still issues with that Chargers defense, and I don't think either you or me trust the Steelers offense to do much either. So it's really going to depend
I get what you were
on.
doing.
Hmm?
I get what you were doing now because the yeah, I was just referencing that nobody can stop the chart. Yeah, that was what I was doing. But yeah, the other side of the ball, much questions.
It's really
So
just going to depend on how many points can the Chargers score while not letting TJ Watt basically wreck the game. That's going to be the biggest question, and the answer of it decides who wins the game. I'm going with the Steelers. I just feel like the Chargers are just trying to run the ball a lot. And I feel like TJ Watt on that defensive line is going to be able to stop the Chargers run game, and that's just going to put them out of sync. And it's really good. This might be the first week where we see, yeah, Quentin Johnson had a good day Sunday, but against an actual defense, how do these wide receivers stack up when they need passing yards? So we'll see about that. But right now, I feel like the Steelers are going to be able to do just enough in probably a low amount of possessions. Um, this
yeah,
might be a quick game because it's just going to all be running the ball. So don't expect this one to last long.
or light up the scoreboard.
Uh,
Yeah, I
Go for the
agree.
under.
Pittsburgh is my pick. And yeah, I mean, honestly, like I'm not trying to hate on Harbaugh. I think I picked against the Chargers in every game they played, and they're 2-0. But
You
like,
pick the Panthers?
it's just no. Oh, sorry, I didn't pick the Panthers. So I picked them in week one, or I picked against them in week one because I picked the
Yeah.
Raiders. But whatever. Um, but like, uh, no, I just again, it's not going to be sustainable just being able to run the ball. I mean, Quentin Johnson was able to score a couple touchdowns, but I mean, it's the Panthers. So, I mean, again, let's see a real defense and let's see you try and stop, Justin Fields and Najee Harris when we haven't really seen your defense be tested. So,
Okay, I'm going to go 3-2-1 on the next two games because I think I know who we both have.
yep,
3-2-1 Bucks.
Bucks,
3-2-1 Raiders.
Raiders.
Yeah. Probably the most interesting game. I would not call this the game of the week just
Nope,
because
that's coming up in two games.
this is going to be an ugly game, I believe. Baltimore and Dallas, two teams trying to find their identity.
The
Baltimore,
battle of the frauds. He's a
I
phony.
I have a sale for you. If you want to finally find your running identity, I have the perfect defense to find it against.
Its name rhymes with Ballast.
No, it's Alice. There's no D in Dallas. It's just Alice. Um, yeah,
Well, with
I
that, I
mean, they
think we can
can,
agree. Baltimore.
yeah. Though if they don't run the ball, they're going to be in some serious issues because Micah Parsons and that D line is just going to be after them. You can't just specifically go for the pass. You need to get ahead of them quickly, and then after that, you're good. If you let Dallas get a lead, that's their only way for success. So whoever scores first is probably going to win this game
Well,
until
I
Baltimore
actually
takes another lead.
I don't I that's what I was about to say. Are they the new Chargers slash Falcons?
We haven't seen enough, so we'll see.
But yeah, uh Baltimore, and then all right, because the Rams are so beat up, 3, 2, 1, Sanford.
Niners.
Yeah. All right, and on to the game of the week. This is begging for the over, no matter how many
Yeah.
points they put on this spread. Holy crap. Um,
It's gonna be fun.
and this is mainly because the Cardinals offense has just lit it up, and they finally got Marvin Harrison Jr. into the game. And Detroit's offense, like, it did not show up very well against the Buccaneers
They're
defense,
gonna be
but
looking for a
more
bounce back.
they're going to be looking for a bounce back. Their offensive line is really good. The Cardinals defense, they weren't really tested last week against the Rams, and they got 34 points scored on them by the Bills. So we'll see how their defense actually looks against a potent offense. So this should be a big shootout, but I'm going to take the Lions in this matchup. And actually, I mean, yes, it continues my NFC North trend, but Kyler Murray has yet to beat the Lions, and I think that's an important trend to watch. I think he's 0-2-1 against the Lions, so I'm
Yeah, I'm
going
gonna
to
go
take
with the
him. I'm going to take
Lions.
him.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna
No,
go
I
with
just,
the
I'm going
Lions
to take the
too.
Lions because of that.
Um, I just feel like Detroit's gonna want to come out back and have a bounce back game. Their offense struggled at times. I think Dan Campbell is ready to get back on that field. I think he was ready to get back on that field after that Tampa Bay game. I really liked his response after the game. Like that's a man that even if you don't like the Lions and as division rivals, there's some animosity there. I know you don't exactly hate them like the Packers, but just
Oh no,
listening to
I
that
like the
man's,
Lions.
hmm?
I like the Lions. I just don't like Kirby Joseph.
But just listening to that man's press conferences and that man's anytime he talks, you want to run through a damn wall for that man. And I feel like that team's going to be ready to do that, especially after like man actually like got visibly upset after that game, and he's a guy
Matt,
you root for. Like even
Matt, he does that every game ever since he was hired. Like you can go watch there. He's got some better ones out there. He is just he's a hell of a guy.
he's a competitor. Might not be the best coach. Let me put that out there first. I think he's probably top 10, but he's probably the biggest competitive coach in the NFL, or at least the biggest motivator, at least. Like, I don't see another head coach in this league that will motivate a team to run through that wall like he does. It's like what we
Yep.
saw 2 years ago before last year, where they really came out, where they had those series of games that, even with the lack of talent at that point, or still developing and getting more experience, they were beating teams that they had no right in beating just because they were like willing to fight. Everybody thought Jared Goff was done. Now we'll move on in a second, but everybody thought Jared Goff was done when he went to the Lions. They were in the NFC Championship last year. That's crazy. But yeah, going with the
That offensive
Lions.
line's crazy. All right, these
Three,
next three, I'm just
two,
gonna say stuff,
one.
and then you're gonna tell me if you agree differently. Chiefs because they haven't given us any reason not to pick them. Um, and I mean the Falcons looked okay last week, but the Chiefs are just a better team, I
Yeah,
believe. The Bills Jaguars have shown to be a big disappointment. Um, and at least I got that prediction right. And the Bills have shown that even though they gave away a lot of their weapons, they're still awesome. And the Bengals are finally going to get their first win. Okay, moving on to our games. Um,
Can I respond real quick?
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Bengals, I agree. They're gonna be fighting like hell to get their first win. So Washington, if you make any mistakes, you're basically screwed. You're gonna have to play a perfect game. Um, Falcons, I don't think Kirk Cousins is gonna be able to hold up on a second straight primetime game. Um, and I feel like you're not gonna get the same mistakes as you got from the Eagles in this game um, with the Chiefs. I'm going to go with the Bills, but one thing I'm going to say that we didn't talk about in the reaction, and I'll do this real quick, but I think a lot of the defensive pieces they lost over the offseason, people overrated how much of a loss they would be, and then underrated this team going into the season. Because they lost several like veteran starters, but so far, like now Arizona, it was a tough game for them. They didn't start out that well on either side of the ball, but second half they brought it in. Other than I think the kickoff return, and then they like yeah, Tua got hurt, and we both feel bad about it. We're not bad, but we hope he gets better real soon. But that doesn't wash away how bad that Dolphins offense looked against that defense on Thursday Night Football. So I think the Jaguars are going to struggle, and I think they're going to be 0-3. But I'll let you go first on your game.
All right. Well, Houston at Minnesota, I gotta say, like, I don't feel the greatest about this pick because obviously I'm going full NFC North, and that really just started because I ended up picking Green Bay, Detroit, and the Bears. So I was like, why not? I'll go for the full sweep. Um, I mean, obviously, I'd hope for the Minnesota Vikings to win and the others to lose, but that's another conversation. Um, I mean, we just beat one of the greatest teams in football. We also beat the Giants, who everybody expected us to beat, or some didn't. But anyway, we're a good team who beat a bad team how they're supposed to. We didn't make it close whatsoever, and then we just stood toe to toe with with I would argue the most physical team in the league. And we're able to beat them. Houston has had a couple close games against the Colts and the Bears. Both decent opponents that you could at least call Minnesota a decent opponent. So I think that with this defense, we can hopefully continue to scheme well against quarterbacks, and our offense should be able to score points on this defense, I believe. And we'll see what happens, but I'm gonna roll with Minnesota. But I honestly could see this one going either way.
Before I say my pick, I'm going to say right now I'm kind of undecided just because I need to see the injury report come out Sunday morning before I'm going to secure my pick. Right now, just with the way things look, I'm going with the Texans, but I want to see the Vikings injury list and see who's out before I solidify that pick. If there's some people not on that list, I'll go with the Vikings. If there's several of them on that list, I'm going with the Texans just because the Vikings won't have enough pieces to compete.
As a Vikings fan, I can tell you the roster is going to pretty much be the same people as the Niners game.
So Dallas
Addison won't.
Turner is still good.
He was walking and celebrating in the locker room after, so I believe he's fine. And Jefferson's was just a bruise, so he's gonna play. I would imagine anyway. Again, like if something comes out later, you can switch it if you want to. But
As
as
I
of
said,
right now,
I'm
as a Vikings fan, from everything I've been hearing, Dallas Turner and Justin Jefferson and Aaron Jones, who are the only three concerns, they should all be fine.
okay. I'm still going to keep it as the Texans right now. Once we get to 12 o'clock Sunday, I'll send you a text of once those injury reports come out, because that's when we actually know who's out.
So basically, if Jefferson's confirmed to play, you're going to switch to Minnesota.
And the others that are of concern, I'm guessing Addison's still not
Addison was projected to miss a couple weeks,
okay.
and that was before the Niners game. So I expect the Niners and Houston. He'll probably play for the Packers, but that's up in the air.
Okay. Well, we'll see when we get to that. Um, I'm worried about this game just because of those weapons on that offense, but it's also probably going to be Skylar Thompson. I'm going Seahawks, but I'm sketchy on it. Just with the injuries to the O line and um, parts of the defense. There's just a few worries, and Tyreek Hill is still going to get his yards, whether short pass, long or deep pass, medium pass, whatever. He's going to get his yards, and he's going to be an issue to stop. And I'm just not sure about our speed with Witherspoon or Woolen. And then Waddle's still always a threat. But yeah, I'm going with the Seahawks. I think Mostert's questionable, and we'll see what Achan's doing. I don't think he's been on the injury report, so it might just be Mostert's out. But hopefully, we can see what the Bills did to that to that offense and just replicate it. And I feel like our D line is going to be able to get some victories against that O line that had some struggles, uh, specifically against Von Miller, which was interesting to see.
There you go. Um, I will say this game could be a trap game.
It is definitely.
It's looking like that, and Skylar Thompson will actually have reps with the ones, and that could be dangerous because like this isn't the typical like wide receivers run routes, Witherspoon and Woolen cover.
Yeah,
This is like wide receiver screen, wide receiver end around. We're gonna beat you with speed, and
we're
same
gonna
thing
have
with
to
the running
blanket them the
backs.
best they can.
Yeah, like and it may even just be Tyreek Hill's going to just simply beat you to the end zone and lob pass like for a deep touchdown because like there's no teaching that type of speed. But anyway, with that being said, I do believe Seattle's the better team just because of how inept the offense looked both with Tua and without Tua against the Bills. I think your defense is going to be somewhat similar. Now, Achan's running style isn't really running up the middle, which I think is where you guys have your biggest weakness. And so I think because of that, you guys will pull off the win. But Achan's a beast, so I wouldn't be so surprised if Miami wins this, but I think is Kenneth Walker coming back for this game?
Right now, it's looking like he's going to be out another week, so it's going to be Charbonnet. But I feel a little bit better against that Dolphins D line that I did the Patriots. Um,
Okay. Then yeah, I'll be a little bit surprised if Miami pulls it off. If Walker was playing, I would be very surprised if Miami pulls it off, um but yeah, I'm gonna roll with Seattle. And so just to recap for the viewers or listeners, you're picking Houston in my game, but if Jefferson and Jones are good to go, you're switching to Minnesota.
basically,
Okay. Because I will say Dallas Turner, great player, high drafted rookie, but I think he has one sack against the Giants, and like he didn't really do too much against the Niners. So I don't really think that's a key player. He's our fourth string edge rusher, but if you
oh,
need him to be on the roster, then I totally understand. But I still think he will be anyway.
it's just one of those
So
having that rotational piece and without having it causes issues sometimes because that means even if he's not making those like getting those stats on the board, that's still a rotation. And one less rotation means you're on the field for more snaps, you're getting more tired, and that's leaving the first like three edge rushers out on that field more. So,
right. Yeah,
because
I get
especially
it.
with Houston, we know they can run the ball. So,
Yeah. Um I expect I expect a text is hopefully the Vikings pull out what I believe everything is good with entries, so I expect that text. But we'll see. Just gotta hope everything's all right and hope we can pull off two stopping of good teams coming into our building, two in a row. Let's hope for that.
Hopefully
And
next week, this time 3-0.
hopefully,
That
yeah,
would be
exactly.
good.
Hopefully, let's forget everything else. Hopefully, next week when we come back on here, we'll both be 3-0. Let's just hope for that.
Yep. All right.
All right, cool deal. Well, with that, the Hawks podcast has concluded for this week. Stay tuned for next week. And with that, Skull.
Peace.